Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your hosts, MB and K. Lou. And y'all see, absent is MB tonight. He had to take care of some business, but hey, we got Pack Jam.
Better know it.
Jam done slid in the first on you.
The realest
What's
co-host
going
of
on?
Sports Talk. The realest co-host of Sports Talk is in the building, man. Glad to be here, man, tonight, man. Shout out to MB, man. Hope all things work out well.
So
I
look,
will fill in.
so
Yes,
look,
sir.
so look. Let me hit you right now.
Okay.
You know, I was excited. This is Olympic time. You know, this is one of my favorite times every 4 years or 5 in this case. And I tell you right now, Pac Jam, I had a wonderful time watching all the sports. I watched some gymnastics. I was watching I don't even know what it was called, man, but it was a one-man canoe. And he was in the rapids trying to go through some two poles hanging down from the, I don't know what they had up there. They ain't show you on the camera, but it was 2 poles hanging down. He supposed to go through them and all that. And I'm like, how you can turn around and go back up? He's swimming backwards like the salmon do. Go back, go around, and then I had my showtime, my badminton, baby. I love that badminton. I feel like I could play badminton. That ball don't be going fast. I think I can make that. The court 2 steps. You get everything about 4 steps away, 2 to 4 steps total. I'm all in the badminton. I really feel like I got a future in that, Pac Jam. What you think?
Okay. ain't no age requirement on that. Is it just, so that I know you in the latter stages of your career. So
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna remind you now. Badminton is like tennis, but it's with a little ball,
right?
That got like feathers on it or something. I don't know. Like a parachute.
Did you see any elders in that competition? Did you?
No, but the ball ain't moving though. The ball ain't moving fast, man. It ain't moving fast.
That's what I want to know before you decide to say, I'm going to embark in this second career.
I feel like I got a chance at badminton. It ain't like hitting no tennis ball. That thing flying. They can't hit it at you fast.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take out another life insurance plan on you.
Okay, golly, another one. But here's what really, made me upset.
Okay.
The women 3-on-3 out there balling, they killing. It ain't even close, right? Right. And then I'm like, well, how we ain't qualify for this? Right? Me and 3-on-3. So I did my little research. Man, we got Robbie Hummel. I don't know who put this team together. Robbie Hummel, Dominique Jones, Kareem Maddox, and Canyon Barry. And if you recognize the last name, yes, it is who you think it is. It's another one of the Barry boys. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Who put Pac Jam? If this thing wasn't made for James Harden, Katie and Kyrie, I don't know what game was. This right here should have been the New York the Brooklyn Nets, baby.
Right.
Just put them 3 in there, and it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Damn. It's only 10 minutes. 10 minutes or first to 21. That's the rule. Everything you take back, and it's just ball. Just go at them. I'm like, this would have been. Pagan, I'm like, the NBA players must ain't even recognize this was going on. 10 minutes total. You got 4 players. They sub each other out when they want to.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, this was a game made. I'm shocked. Listen, Bron must ain't know about this 3-on-3. I feel like Bron.
We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that later on, Bron.
But look, it's 3-on-3. It's half court.
Right.
10 minutes, first to 20 or first to 21. And our girls don't make it to 10 minutes. They get you up out of there.
Right.
It's super
Absolutely.
fast. Listen, man, I enjoyed it, man. I was like, this is what time it is. So, Pac Jam, what Olympics you was watching? Any games you was watching?
Well, you know where I was at, man. I was where everybody talking about. I was there. I was at the big thing, man. I was at the 13-man lineup basketball. I was at the Greg Popovich led by Kevin Durant, aka
Who?
his Kevin Durant. You know the guy
Who?
with the right. The guy with the IG post, the guy with the IG handle of Easy Money Sniper is what he's referred to. That's his IG handle, Easy Money Sniper. You know, aka the Durantula. That's where I've been at. You know what I mean? Because they told me after game 5 of the Milwaukee Brooklyn series, after game 5 with the triple double with the 49, they told me that this is the greatest player in NBA basketball. You know, some say the most talented player in the history of basketball. So that's where I've been at. You know, because
Look,
they
I
told me
argue that. I argue on that side.
no, don't need to argue because I was excited because I know we got the best player in the world. You know, as my main man Cat Williams say, in the world,
Craig.
flying over here to Korea. They told me, Pac Jam, don't worry about Las Vegas, what happened in the exhibition. That was just a little tune-up fight. You don't get. I said, okay, cool. So I board the flight, show my passport, let the people know I am who I say I am, and they tell me, you know, hey, you got an aisle seat right here, first class. You flying over to Greg Pop, look at these gangsters. So here I go. I arrive, and once again, I done got hit right in my mouth again.
Right.
Again, first game out the hat. And they telling me that this the best, that I'm led by KD. But you know what? I want to dive right into that. Let's go back to 92 for a minute. What was the 92 team called?
Dream. Wait, no. Dream Team was before,
92.
Right?
92.
91 was Dream Team, right?
No, 92 Olympics was Dream Team.
Okay, my bad.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking about
92
91,
Olympics
like it
was called what?
92, yeah, Dream Team, yeah.
Why was it called a Dream Team?
Because it had all the best players in the NBA at the time.
But why was the word dream used though?
Minus Isaiah Thomas.
But why was the word dreamed used?
Because this would be a team. I thought I never knew the truth, right? I thought that the reason why it was used because if we as a fan or a GM or anybody like that put together our ultimate team that was in the league at that time, these are the players we would dream about putting together. That's
there you go. So in other words, these are the players you can only dream about playing together.
Right.
And if a dream was to come to fruition, if it was to manifest, these were your guys, right?
Right.
So if that was a dream team, this got to be a nightmare. Because a nightmare is what scares you to death, right? When you wake up in the morning, no matter how old you are, from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, crazy, when you say you had a nightmare, what folks say? What happened?
Right.
Who was in it? What was going on? This got to be the nightmare team. You know? So when you put that, so looking through the eyes of a night, I asked myself, I said, Pac Jam, how could you continue to watch the Olympics and not feel a type of way? Taking a word from my main man, Rich Homie Quan. How can I feel a type of way? And I said, you know what? I would now look at the Olympics and I look at this team as nightmare team. So I'm going into every game now looking at something, looking at it to be scary. I'm looking at through the lens of Freddy Krueger. Because I ain't looking at through the lens of the dream team. I'm gonna get it out I've got it out my mind. Because my thing is this. See, the narrative that's being put out there that international players are so much better. They're not. Because I would say this, K-Lou. If you put together a dream team of today's NBA players, they won't even be close. It won't be. And you can just choose just from the All-Star game. It won't even be close. The problem is we never sent the dream team for today's NBA over there. That's not a dream team. We do have one, but that ain't it. The international players are not better than us. They're not. They're not. We sat there right there and we watched throughout the playoffs when they put that physical game down on throughout the regular season on them same guys. Patty Mills ain't even averaged 10 points a game in regular season. Now you finna convince me that Patty Mills is a 25 point per game player? No, he's not. It's because you ain't sending the best defensive or offensive guys over there collectively. You didn't. And that's the problem. Stop listening to everybody else, even former NBA players with this foolishness telling you, oh man, the game has gotten so much better over there. No, it ain't. Luka said right there and told you, I grew up idolizing LeBron James. When Luka first played against LeBron James, he shook his hand and hugged him. They had to tell Luka, let him go. They finna jump off.
Listen, come on, man. I think we called it. We called it as soon as when that roster came out. On
Absolutely,
this show.
we did.
Sideline to baseline, I let you know this right here was gonna be trouble.
Right.
And the main reason there were two reasons I used. Number one was lack of big presence. The number two reason I said, and really, first and foremost, and MB done shouted it out over there. No Alpha Dawg. Not one.
Not one.
And I said, and I challenged, I said to MB on the show, I said, unless my guy Jason Tatum turn into an alpha overnight, boy, we in trouble. Because there's nobody that's gonna get them guys together and get them on the same page.
Nobody.
Nobody. Like nobody's gonna walk into that locker room. Hey, Larry Bird ain't coming back. Magic Johnson out of there.
Absolutely.
Michael Jordan, he ain't coming there. He ain't flying to Tokyo. They won't let him there. You know what I mean? Listen, it's just nobody has that presence in that locker room that's gonna demand the best out of those guys, and nobody on that team demands the ultimate respect from all the players in the locker room, and that's
nobody.
To me, what an alpha brings. Like, watch this. You make one move, one flight, one guy would have came there and changed it, and he's an alpha. Easy money. And you ain't even thought about him, Pac Jam. He just finished losing the NBA Finals. He hurt. Chris Paul they would be playing completely different. A lot of people talking about Steph Curry. Steph couldn't have went there and did that. Steph couldn't have went there and done that. He don't command respect like that. They think he's a great player. They got a guy that's better than him on the team. Look how that's working out. Okay,
I agree.
But Chris Paul would have got there and he would have coached him. You mentioned Greg Popovich. You talked about Greg, and you said, a lot of people throwing salt on his name, and they should, because I'm sure he there with that foolishness. But Chris Paul wouldn't care what plays he running. He'd have been calling his own and getting people to move and do what he telling them to do. There's nobody there like that. There's nobody there. Easy. It's easy to say LeBron James. That's easy name to call. But I'm letting y'all know that it's a person out there that ain't got half that ability, but is an alpha.
And it's funny you say that
y'all know what an alpha changes.
Absolutely. It's funny you say that because Chris Paul was on the Olympic team with Kobe Bean Bryant, as well as LeBron James and Chris Bosh. Chris Paul was on that team. And the other night, I watched that game again on YouTube because one thing about you and I, we do a lot of homework on different things because we like to be factual and stuff, not just so much opinionated. But the other night, I rewatched that game on YouTube, and I'm gonna tell you who was on the floor together. And you tell me if these guys ring a bell to you. It was Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. Last I checked, I'm just saying, the last I checked, in that game, they had Chris Bosh at the center. LeBron was at the power forward in that game. Chris Paul was at the point. Kobe was at the small forward, and they had Wade at the 2. Do you know they was pressing? They were pressing Lithuania 94 feet from jump ball. They wasn't down. They was pressing 94 feet and they was playing booger in the nose. And for which all them people don't understand what booger in the nose defense is that you so close to a guy offensively and defensively, you can see the booger in his nose. That's the type of defense that five was playing at jump ball.
That's the attitude and mindset, though.
You see what I'm saying? This team here ain't pressed yet 94 feet.
Why
this team here plays very relaxed, like we here.
Right. Absolutely.
We here.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? Nobody cares enough to have an L, hung on their hat. Because this is just something we doing anyway.
Right.
And then the guys that are probably super serious and really want to win, they ain't an alpha. Devin Booker, you're not an alpha. We just saw that. In the Milwaukee series.
Right.
We saw your alpha stop scoring, and what happened to your team?
Right.
Just
Absolutely.
fell off the face of the earth. You see what Giannis did? Giannis hung up 50. Giannis said, "Well, shoot, if they ain't gonna score, I'm gonna pick up what the slack from anybody else." And demand that they play as good as they possibly can. Listen, it's very easy to see why we're losing, but Greg Popovich gonna have to take it on the chin because he had all the control. He put this roster together, and he's coaching. So yes, he deserves it. He gonna take it on the chin. Kevin Durant again gonna walk away from this thing as if this ain't on my shoulders. I think Chuck read the stats a couple weeks ago saying that he was 72-0 in international play, basically.
Right.
I'm like, but he was never the guy.
Right.
All 72 times.
Right.
Like, he was never the guy.
You get the stamp of being on that team.
And now I challenged Chuck with that because, of course, this was prior to us losing. I challenged him with that. And you see what's happening right now. He's just not that guy. He's a guy, he's there to put up his 30, to put up his 40, whatever you need. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That don't turn you into a champion, though. Mike showed us that. Jordan, you can lead the league in scoring with it gets you a goose egg. And the 2 championships everybody want to go to.
But see, the thing is, in that, just to piggyback what you're saying is, guys like him that are prolific scorers, what happens when I can't score? And the other night, Kevin Durant's jumper was not falling, and he brought nothing else to the table. And in frustration, he got in quick foul trouble. You see what I'm saying? Because the jumper wasn't falling. You ain't bringing nothing else. You the tallest man on the court. You wasn't trying to go down there and defend, block shots, rebound, anything like that. You just standing out there on the perimeter, jacking up threes. It's not falling. Now you're frustrated. Now you're committing fouls. So you finish with 9 points in a first round loss, meaning putting us in a position that they got to win out. They can't lose no more games in pool play if they're trying to get the goal. They got to win out to get a goal now.
Right.
Another loss, you playing the best you can do then is a bronze.
So then you want to talk about some, when I mentioned LeBron earlier, you said you were saving some. What was that about?
Well, again, the thing I was saving was the fact that people should now realize the totality of what LeBron brings to the game of basketball. That he is still the most talented player in the game of basketball. Because even as you said, one Delta flight of a first-class private jet, have LeBron want to travel, particularly on that day, everything would change, and we all know that. And the sad part about it is, if LeBron was able to join that team right now and it turned around, they still wouldn't give him the credit. They still would be like, well, it was Jason Tatum who hit the corner 3, not realizing everything that turned around and how he put guys in positions to be playmakers. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you listening to
what?
The internet haters of LeBron too much. and Skip Bayless too much. I think
No,
who you listening to?
no,
But I don't
because
think. I think it'd be overwhelmingly all the writers would know who and why it was done. But you pay attention to those haters too much.
well, again, again, like I said, the masses now realize the importance of LeBron James and what he brings to the table, man.
I don't necessarily. Again, I don't necessarily think he's thought of anything. I think you may be letting that Jordan LeBron conversation.
No.
The fact that he's in a Jordan LeBron conversation, I think debunks that idea. The fact that he's even in it.
You would think that. You would think that. Because again,
why would the same people have a look Jordan? They ain't having no KD Jordan argument. They ain't having a Giannis Jordan argument. They're not having a Chris Paul Jordan argument. Like I think you looking too deep in it, because I don't think nobody feels that
argument.
Way.
That argument is being had because of what he said. He called himself the GOAT. He said he's playing. He said he made those statements. I will send them to you.
No, it's not that. It's not that I know he made those statements, but I'm saying we be having this conversation whether he made them or not. It's a real argument.
I'm saying I believe that's where the hate came from when he started saying those statements.
But what I'm saying is, I think him winning, him coming in, saving the day, nobody would hate on that. The same haters that hate on him anyway would hate on that. And I think you focusing too much on the small percentage of those people versus the overwhelming masses that realize what he is to the game of basketball. And even the ones that for a second there didn't realized it when these finals just got played.
Okay, because I mean, you look at ESPN did a poll and he still was voted the most hated player in the NBA. Explain that.
According to who, though? Like, who's making this?
I just said ESPN did a poll and he was voted the most hated player in the NBA. So I'm just trying to.
I mean, I still think a lot of people ain't forgave him from the decision, which I thought was the dumbest thing ever. Not by his part, but y'all let high school players make decisions every day. You know, like he went back to his school and did something that 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are doing, and he got vilified for it. So I don't understand that. Like, why is it okay for them to do it? And he made it fun and made it interesting, and then y'all hated on him. But if you look at his decline in popularity, it was then. You know what I mean? Where he became public enemy number one. You know, I mean, he doesn't do it. And when you say hate it, okay, let's think about this too. This part right here, you got to think about. He's had a lot to say in politics. Somebody gonna be on the other side of what you're saying. So I don't know if that poll is real. You know, as it relates to people who are paying attention and care about basketball versus when he entered that political realm and spectrum and he makes comments based on what side of the fence he falls on, you know, of course, now he's hated for that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, who else is speaking out with that kind of voice? And so I would venture to say, if you look at all the guys that are speaking out that have had a voice of any kind, they probably would show up on that list as being the most hated as well. And when I say that, if you take baseball and you take football and you take soccer, people who have spoken out, I guarantee you in this climate, this political climate, I think what he said with the decision and his political affiliations make that what it is. I think that's outside of basketball.
Okay.
Well, the NFL, speaking of NFL, guess what? NFL got something for y'all around here, unvaccinated players with that COVID. You get COVID, you get COVID, we don't care nothing about you. Tampa Bay coach say he fining you. and the league say if you get the game canceled, we ain't paying none of y'all. So I think this is crazy. Why would COVID from an unvaccinated player versus a vaccinated player give you any more heat? You know what I mean? I think it's outlandish. I think they again, NFL, they used to this being on the wrong side of history. But the rule gotta be, you know what I mean? It's got to be straight up. You know?
Well, I think what has happened with this here, let's be honest, Kevin. I think what has happened is two things. The first thing is the NFL is trying to have the right face and right position with the people in charge, because that's what's coming out of DC. Okay, and we know that the NFL, if you go back to its the existence of the NFL, going back to Jimmy Carter, NFL has always been in the bed with DC.
Okay.
With Washington DC, and so now that's the big voice that's coming down is everybody need to get vaccinated. So we trying to be, like you said, again, NFL, the politics of it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to show you how we're behind the vaccination. And we're going to do this to our players and do this to our players. Now, this is the thing. The NFL is doing more than government jobs in corporate America, because they're waiting on the CDC, the FDA, to say we're behind the vaccine 100%. Who said they're not going to get behind it, and they're going to make a decision in 2022, January, to decide if they're going to get behind it fully. They're still trying to, you got still people in DC telling the CDC, hey, make the mask mandatory again. CDC hasn't done that yet. So it's, once again, like you said, it's becoming, they're politicizing it, because like you said, if I get COVID from a vaccinated player, it's no different from me getting it from an unvaccinated player.
Right.
But yet
right.
NFL is saying this. Yes, it is. What science y'all know?
Right.
Because we just seen a golfer, maybe you can look it up real quick. He was the same golfer he was up by 6 strokes a little while ago, and he tested positive, and he was winning the tournament by 6 strokes, and they pulled him out of the tournament.
Right.
And then he just got COVID again just this past weekend, and they pulled him out of the tournament again, and he's been vaccinated.
John Ram.
Right.
And, or Bryson DeChambeau. One of them.
Right. This guy's been vaccinated, and he's had COVID twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, as usual, listen, man, obviously the jury's still out on all this stuff. Because you weren't supposed to be able to get it at first, and then that changed to you would get it, but just the stuff will be symptoms and it should be lighter on you. And I don't know, and I ain't the one to say, because that ain't my area of expertise. All I know is it's the NFL has clearly basically stated, if you vaccinated, you regular, do anything you want to, and if you're not, then you under the same protocols that they had last year, and that's just what it is. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the side of the fence they standing on. And
also, if you've been exposed, if you are non-vaccinated and you have been exposed to somebody who has COVID, you're not playing and you will lose your paycheck. Versus a guy who has vaccinated and was exposed, he can still play.
Right. And still have it again, you know what I'm saying? Or potentially have it, and potentially spread it.
Well, right now you got Cole Beasley that's going at it back and forth with his own teammates. Him and linebacker Jerry Hughes the other night, they was on Twitter and Instagram going back and forth, commenting to each other about it. I mean, it was must-see TV. 2 teammates going at it about vaccinated and unvaccinated players on the team.
Steve said, why can't it be about a business? that if you work for my company, you must have a shot. No, Steve, I'm sorry, bro, but you can't control people health. That's called HIPAA. You need to call your HR department and see if you got that kind of power and control. But you are right. You can decide who you hire and fire, so fire them.
Because NFL is doing that too on coaches. If coaches refuse to take the COVID shot, they are being let go.
Minnesota,
and we had two coaches.
Yeah,
right. We had two coaches this past week, two offensive line coaches, one with Minnesota, one with New England, said, okay, I'm not taking this shot. I'll see y'all later. So you're right in that aspect.
Well, Annie says everyone, the players, coaches, presidents, needs the shot. What's the problem?
Well, the problem is
again, I say the problem is you have freedom of choice, Annie. You have to be able, like, you got to be able to make whatever medical decisions are best for you and your family, not put whatever you think is best for you and your family on to everybody else in their family. So, I just think that's where it lies, and nobody's coming, ever coming around to and knocking on each other's doors and making them do.
Look like we lost you, Kay. Lou, you there? Well, even as he said, and the main thing is you have to do what's best for you and your family moving forward. That's a medical decision that you have to make and determine for yourself. You
hear me?
No, we had lost you, but I just echo what you had said, that you have to do what's best for you and your family. That's the kind of medical decision that's what that is, because we don't know your underlying conditions. We don't know what the pre-existing things that you may have or your family may have. So that's a decision you and your family has to make. So I think moving forward, that's where it's at.
Steve said it's about the science, bro. I believe, not the politics. So again, I didn't know where politics stepped into it. That's Pac Jam. Pac Jam said that in Washington.
No, I said politics. I said politics. No, I said the politics of it was because of the fact how it is being politicized by different congressmen from DC, how they're using is why I said it was being politicized. That's what I do agree is about the science, because you have to make a decision what's best for your body and to make that decision on whatever medicine you decide to take. That's just like
Steve, you trying to make this a medical show though, but you said, what about immunization shots? Well, you're not forced to take those either. There's nothing medically that anybody can do to you unless you give consent or give consent on behalf of. So if you have kids, they're minors, obviously they can't consent. You have to sign. Anytime you just think, Steve, anytime you've taken your son or daughter, or if you remember when you were a little kid and your parents walked in there, they signed some paperwork. That's why you got those shots. They can't just give you shots. So that, you threw that question out there. So I just wanted to definitely give you an answer to that. Yeah, they just can't do anything they want to you. Everybody still got choice, at least right now. I don't know when that's gonna get taken, but at least right now you still got a choice. So you need to just exercise your choices, whatever they are. That's not my job, and I'm definitely unqualified to tell you what those choices need to be. But at least I know you have one. Okay, how about that? Man, moving right along. The SEC, baby, the SEC,
absolute best conference in football.
They showing out. They doing what the ACC started years ago. Started this super conference race, and everybody else followed suit. Now they trying to get after Texas and Oklahoma, and it still hasn't happened officially. But I just read today where the Big 12 is trying to have an emergency meeting with those two teams. That to me sounds like it's too late when you start talking like that, Pac Jam.
Yeah, I mean, because they turned in the paperwork saying we're not gonna on the media rights that we're not extending, So to let them know, hey man, we going through the formalities of signing the right paperwork to exit the building. And that's what they're trying to do, exit the building.
So let's talk about that. I
Okay,
cannot
talk to me.
understand what the advantage would be to go join the SEC. Obviously, it's probably, I don't know the numbers, but the last time I checked, the Big Ten actually had the biggest numbers. SEC was second. I don't understand why you would want to go get involved with that buzzsaw unless both of them want to get on the east side.
Well, looking at it, K. Lou, I see multiple reasons. One, I found out today, I didn't even know this, that the Big 12 didn't even have a network.
Right.
Texas Longhorn had their own network, but nobody else had a network. Right, nobody had a network. And so I also seen where, and it's kind of that Texas was the highest grossing football team in the country.
Correct. That's why I don't understand why Texas would
landslide.
want to join anybody. Like, to me, Texas need to be the real Notre Dame.
Right. Texas, and guess who was behind Texas? Shockingly. Texas A&M.
Oh, A&M. Okay.
And football, and just football gross. Those two teams. And again, Texas A&M is fighting. Texas A&M right now is fighting tooth and nail with the commissioner of the SEC. They're already letting you know that they're not going to, because you have to have 11 of the 14 votes has to, be for them to bring those two teams. Texas A&M pretty much to let you know we're not voting for them to come.
Yeah.
So Texas A&M is lobbying with other teams, other ADs and presidents to say let's not let them come.
Okay, let's talk about that then. What team should be saying heck no? It's easy to me. Alabama, Florida need to be saying heck no. LSU need to be like, what is y'all talking about? Tennessee, like, man, we about to die right now. Georgia,
but
like, we thought we was a step away. Now we 4 steps away. They get involved. We might be 7 steps away. No, I think these other teams shouldn't be voting no.
It's funny you say that because Alabama has Texas on their schedule next season and beyond. So they've already got in the bed with each other to lock horns with each other and playing on the football field.
Yeah, that's so, one thing with it being what is it called? A exhibition type where it don't really count like that. Ain't really gonna hurt you necessarily. But that's another thing when they're in your conference and you got to see them every other year.
Right. But again, it's one of those things. Me being an SEC guy, I'm excited about it. I think it'll make our conference that much more powerful. Having two good time, well, Oklahoma right now, because let's be honest, Texas ain't tech. Texas is not Mac Brown, Texas. Let's talk. Let's be honest about it. Money wise, they're great, but football wise, Oklahoma is really the only one that's coming to the party with a great team.
But let's remember a lot of times why teams will join a conference besides what Steve obviously said, which was money. The other thing is location. Okay. They look at it like realtors, baby. They involved with location. So has Texas finally realized they need some of this Florida talent? And getting in the SEC, now all of a sudden you can see that burnt orange, baby, and white going around, and they travel super first class everywhere. And now you can be on there. Now you recruiting. You play Florida, right? You jump. You make your sweep round here. You play Alabama. You take another flight that round here. Like you can go up that east, that southeast area. And you can keep hitting Florida, and you can keep hitting Florida every time, and you already have lived in Louisiana. So I mean, I think that would be why they will want to. But I'm still, y'all. Texas is a whole. It's an NFL team. That's a real organization.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that, K-Lou, because just staying right there where you was at in recruiting, a lot of Texas guys was on TV today talking about them going to the SEC saying, hey, now we can convince guys in the state of Texas that you ain't got to leave the state no more to go to the SEC. You can stay home.
Oh, okay.
Because they still, because remember now, let's keep it all in 100. Texas are losing all of the 5-star, 4-star kids to Oklahoma and Alabama in their state.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
So before you can before you go 1,500 miles to the east and recruit, first you got to start right where you at, where you ain't getting no recruits. You've lost the number 1, number 2 running back for next season is going to Alabama and Oklahoma. The number 1 quarterback you've lost 3 years in a row to Oklahoma. So they're not, you understand what I'm saying? It's like at some point they got to try to figure out how can they keep their talent in their state to go there, which is something that wasn't happening when Mac Brown was there.
Absolutely. I guess though, when you're looking at Oklahoma, man, I think that's a huge move for Oklahoma football. I think with their style of play, that's a scary look for the SEC with their style of play.
Oklahoma in the SEC East over there with Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky. I like that.
They might can hang it up. Listen, I know all the Florida people are screaming. What are y'all thinking?
Put them on the West. Put them on the West.
Hey, Florida might go to the Big 12. They mess around. Florida dip, baby.
Because they've been spoiled. They've been like New England the last 10, 15 years fighting with one team, and that's Georgia. Because everybody else just been nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tennessee ain't been right since Peyton Manning left. You know, him and T. Martin. You know, so they've been over there with Kentucky. They, you know what I'm saying, over there with Vanderbilt. So they just been fighting just against Georgia for the last 10, 15 years. So you know they don't want none of them teams talking about you bringing Texas on the east side. That no people, you know what I mean?
I tell you what, Oklahoma looking at that east and saying barbecue chicken, baby, barbecue chicken. That's what they said. That's exactly what they said. That's nothing. I'm trying to see y'all.
Matter of fact, we don't even want no home games. We'll play a straight 10, straight down piece on the road. We'll play on the road there. We got our first 3 years in SEC on that east side.
Lincoln gonna throw that thing 70 times a game.
You heard what I said? Lincoln gonna tell them, you know what? We'll play. We don't even want a home game on the East Coast, on the East SEC East. We'll play on the road our first 3 years.
That's how bad we want to be over there.
Yeah, on that East.
So then talk about this. Does the Big 12 just implode now? Like, is it over with? Because let's remember when Texas A&M left, and Nebraska left, Texas spoke out then and said, "Well, we out now too," and they knew if they lost Texas, the conference would just blow up. So now that Texas is seriously thinking about leaving and possibly, according to Pac Jam and his sources, it's a done deal. The Big 12 goes back to the original Big 8.
No, I meant to share with you. I was busy, but I want to share with you. The Big 12 has already put together a package of the teams they're contacting, and UCF is one of them.
Where there y'all go, baby?
UCF made it. The Golden Knights, baby. We going big time.
UCF made it, baby. University of Central Florida Knights. For the rest of y'all, other than the folks that live in Orlando, ain't never heard of before. They right here, baby. They've been begging every conference alive in the Power 5. Please, baby, please. They put a package together for the ACC and they laughed at them. They put another one together at the Big 12. They laughed at them. And then they just said, dang, we conference USA and UCF and USF. And so, right. I mean, size-wise though, y'all, listen, UCF gonna shock y'all. They darn near what, 90,000
Yeah, it was UCF, Cincinnati, It was a list of, it's about six teams out of that conference that they sent, that they're putting a package together for.
Yes. Steve said go ahead and throw Memphis in there too. Quit playing. Steve say put Memphis in there. I mean,
they can.
The Big 12. So who left in the Big 12? They trying to jump ship. So
matter of fact, Iowa State is looking at the Pac-12. Because
that would be great for them.
Quiet is kept. That's the number 2 team in the Big 12 right now. Iowa State.
Oh, remember, they've been good the past 3 years now.
Right. They fell on the outside of the college playoff last year, if you remember. They went down to the wire and they fell on the outside.
Wow. This is amazing, y'all, because I think this spells disaster in the end of the Big 12. Old school Big 8. I guess Kansas gonna beg the ACC. No, my bad. Well, yeah, Kansas in the Big. What does Baylor do, man? Baylor's sick. They got to get in the Pac-12 as well.
Yeah, I believe Baylor go to Pac-12.
But I think the ACC should pitch for Baylor. That'd be a huge one. I say get after Baylor, and I'm gonna tell you another one that would probably, obviously work with the basketball piece of it, and that's obviously Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, like, try to get I say Baylor and Kansas, get the ACC involved with those two, and I think that's a great look for them. Everybody else, West Virginia. Oh man, West
Virginia needs to be an ACC, man. I don't know why they're not an ACC.
No, we ain't gonna welcome. Hey, I don't like what they doing over there.
You don't want the coal miner state.
Hey, actually, the Kansas gonna be too horrible weather-wise. Them ACC schools ain't gonna go play out there. So Kansas and West Virginia, no, I don't think they'll make it. But West Virginia will make more sense, I will be honest with you, than Kansas because of location. It's
I think Virginia
trip.
Tech doesn't want. I think the problem is Virginia Tech doesn't want West Virginia in ACC.
Yeah, I don't think they will vote, but like I said, that Baylor. If I'm the ACC president, new president right now, I'm really trying to make calls to Baylor. That would be huge. You get all their programs. Obviously, you're not only getting the football program, but the basketball program just won it. And guess what? The women program is one of the best basketball programs in the country. Right. So I'm all over Baylor right now.
Which is why I believe the Pac-12 is going to contact Baylor as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because of that,
Baylor's probably they the number one free agent out there. They probably knowing them, they might say bump both of y'all. We going up top. Get involved with the Big Ten.
Which would make a big difference too on what coaches decide to start putting in for that football job at Baylor if they was to happen to join the ACC, because it may become more appealing to some guys who ordinarily wouldn't put in for that job because of because of the Big 12. Where now they may say, you know what, I'll put in for that. I'll put in for that job now. I take it. It's a good job, because that's the thing that a lot of fans don't understand. Conferences determines a lot about what these coaches want to coach at.
Steve said Kansas should be in the Mountain West. Steve, let me tell you something, man. All them boys are transfer. They go to the Mountain West. Listen, they what's the coach their name? Pat Jam? Not Bruce Pearl.
No.
Why his name popped up in my head. But they coach. Listen, that coach will quit. He'll quit and he'll take his whole basketball program with him. The name and everything. The name and everything. Because that's a letdown for them. They go to the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's a no-go for him. I think they end up. I like Baylor though, boy. Man, I love for the ACC to get Baylor. Obviously, I wanted Kansas for the football. For the basketball. probably don't work so well for the football. I don't know who in the
Mhm.
ACC again would want to travel to Kansas to play a football game. Oh, okay. You talking about football. Yeah. Hey, but you got to remember they money maker is basketball. So that's really who going to make the decision. And they got a Hall of Fame coach there too. Hey, damn, I don't know why. That's a Hall of Fame guy. We both dropping his name. Let me see.
I'm looking right at his face. Can't think his name right now, too.
Yeah.
And he's another one had a stacked deck, and he blow wreck about 4 or 5 years in a row, too. I don't know why I can't think his name, because he's one of the guys. Bill Self. That's it.
Yeah, Bill keeper squad. Bill is not letting his program go to
Bill
my way.
sends 3 guys to the league every year, lottery. If not lottery, right outside lottery. But 2 of them will be lottery every year, and he doesn't get it done. He's another one that don't get it done.
Bill, I mean, Steve, I'm telling you, Bill will put his resignation in there if they mention Mount West to him. I'm just telling you that. They scared to go in his office with that foolery.
Absolutely.
I think they're a natural match for the Big Ten. It's natural. And the Big Ten will open it will welcome them with open arms because they basketball means that much. They basketball, and it's a cupcake for the Big Ten football. So they'll love to get involved both ways. We got a bye week, and we just upped our basketball program to now we might be ranked. We're gonna be ranked top 5 no matter what every year. You know, preseason rankings. Bill Self gonna have them ranked top 5 every year, and we get a bye week on the football side. We don't mess it up for football. Tell you what, if the SEC though pull this off, man, listen, Pac Jam, I understood. Pac and I had a conversation last week when he first mentioned this, and he was like, man, it'll be over with. Hey, I mean, I respect the 3-loss team. I tell you that out of there. A 3-loss team still get into the Final Four.
And see, and you know that, and you know that's a good spot right there to discuss too. Because if you remember, just last week, Jimbo's against this 10-team, 8-team thing that they're talking about doing for the college playoff. Expanded to the 8-10 team. Jimbo said Jimbo was so bold with this statement. Now listen to this here. Jimbo said there's not 10 good teams out there at the end. There's not 10 good teams. There's only 4. So Jimbo is against.
I'll argue that with him.
Right. So Jimbo's saying, but this is what but they're saying still the first 4, we're gonna put y'all to the side and let the other 6 battle it out. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna play in. They're gonna play
the NBA
in
style.
And get it on with the 4.
Right.
We're gonna give y'all buys. But Jimbo say no. He's against that too. Because I think, like we talk about with that the fact of playing that one game and you know what I mean? Sometimes the old cliche, any given Sunday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Team get codified right at the end. And he's trying to safeguard himself from that.
Well, and if you look at it, though, he's right. At the end of the day, when you pick those 4, you are arguing really that one team should have got in over another team. But what you're not arguing is that
5 should have got in.
5, 6, 7, 8 can beat anybody up front.
Right.
On top of it. And that's what I think Jimbo's looking at when he's talking. I don't think he's saying they're undeserving, but he's saying, look,
he is saying they undeserving. Right. He's saying they're undeserving, but they're deserving, but they're really undeserving. Is what he's saying.
Right.
Let's be honest what he's saying.
Right. We appreciate you, Steve. Catch us again, man. We appreciate you hollering at us.
But at the end of the day, because they're saying the teams with the better record of those 6 are going to host a home game. The other team going to travel to play them. And so what happens still, like you just said, I mean, you didn't say it, but you did say it. If you still get 4 SEC teams a part of that 6, then what? Because if you look at it, that's been like that before. When you look at that bottom 5 through 10, it's been LSU 1 year, Alabama sitting out there 1 year. Right.
At least 2 of them. And I think, but let's be honest. Let's talk about what they really are trying to do. What they're really trying to do is get Memphis in there, that last spot. What they're really trying to do is make an excuse to say Boise State deserve to get in.
Hawaii,
that's what that is. It has nothing to do with actually what we're thinking about. Who's that next group? What is going to ensure is that UCF never gets left out again. That's what that's going to do.
So basically what they're doing is we're going to give them a game to play.
Right.
We're going to give them a game.
Right. You can't say you wasn't involved.
Right.
We getting you involved.
We getting you involved. So don't get mad that you got to go to play at Ohio State because you want it in.
Right. Right.
Because Ohio finished number 5. Now you number 8. You got to go to the horseshoe and get it on.
Right. And I'm telling you, that's what this is really about. Has nothing to do with getting the next 8 best team. The top 8 teams or the top 10 teams. That's trash. That's they tired of the little teams or the so-called, the Coastal Carolinas who pitched the fit last year. Right. And when it goes down and I start getting real ugly with you and say, hey, they ain't leaving Notre Dame by when you don't hearing me say that. Call it what you want. When I start talking to Pac-Jam like that, hey man, Ohio State went undefeated.
Because this the thing.
At the time, right? Ohio State, we didn't even know if they were gonna get 4 games in for the year. I said all they need to play is 3. They in. Then the Pac-Jam.
They played 6 and got in.
Yeah, Pac-Jam was complaining about 6. I said all they needed was half of that. They in.
But you know what? It's like Notre Dame. They get in there again, right?
Yeah.
And we had the same post-game speech every time from this guy saying we got to get bigger and faster and stronger.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing that. I'm like, why you want to play? I'm like, Kelly, when you going to give us the same speech like last year? Man, Smith was really fast. Najee Harris was really big and powerful, man. We just got to recruit harder. Those guys are – I'm tired of hearing that, so don't come. They was fast before you played them.
Well, Pac-Jam, like I always do, I ain't telling you they gonna win nothing or if it's right or not. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen.
Because the thing is, the last 5 years, the 3 times Alabama's played Notre Dame has been a massacre.
Killed them. It hasn't been close.
And it's like at some point, I know that at some point that the boosters, the money guy got to say, okay, come on, man.
Pat, you cut it out. And if they able, which I think they will be able to do, now that players are getting paid, they're going to get this playoff in. Because that was the biggest hang up. The fact that y'all going to make more money off of these guys and they're not getting money. Now they're going to be throwing at them. Well, we're going to make sure that the players get marketing dollars from this bowl game or this playoff game to make it ease it on in there. So this playoff is going to get,
But before this show cut off, I want to ask you this because I thought about this too. I did some homework on this here last night.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's excited about kids can get paid, right? And everybody's saying that if this kid get paid, blase, kids are going to start going to Rutgers. They're going to start going to Illinois. They're going to start going to all these different places because they're going to be able to get these big deals, right?
Right.
But the thing that's going to prevent a lot of that, and you know this yourself, but you ain't thought about it, is are these schools are going to change who they accept in their schools? Because academically, a lot of these schools can't take these kids.
Correct.
So it's a reason why Alabama's sitting there. We take them. You ain't got to be the smartest in the room. You got to be on the road. Let's keep it real. A lot of schools, you ain't, you know what I'm saying, taking kids from the special class. I'm going to leave it right there. But a lot of these schools can't take kids with these low AC, SATs, not, you know what I mean? A lot of these schools don't take junior college kids, alternative school kids. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, that's why I still believe we're still going to have the same top 8 teams we've been seeing the last 20 years, because unless the interest changes, then it's a whole new ball game. Then if Notre Dame say we gonna take everybody and anybody, it's a whole new ball. Right. And as long as those things don't happen, I think we're still gonna see the same 10 schools we're seeing. Because right now, you can be in the slow class and go to Ohio State. You can be in the slow class, you can go to Michigan. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
That people ain't thinking about.
Well, that private school thing changes things. Public and private. It's the same way for your kids' schools.
Right. Right.
So Lorenz say Duke changed their basketball program and led to Coach K winning his last national championship. Yeah. Hey, Lorenz, that's true, except for those guys were still honor roll students. whether they did the work or not, what was on their transcripts was a lot of A's. So I'm not gonna get involved with who did what. I think we all know Kyrie did his work. Kyrie did his own work. I can't tell you nobody else. Jay Will did his own work.
Well, at the end of the day, Lorenz, the proof is in the pudding. You can look at Duke basketball. I'm not a Duke guy. You can look at Duke basketball players and when they left Duke and went to the league, and then what they've done off the field and what they've done education off the field, they've been some sound dudes. I don't remember last time I seen a Duke guy and you seen him on the negative side of negative. You ain't seen that.
Or in front of a camera and couldn't speak.
Right. I have not seen that yet. I ain't seen that.
He said he took a few kids, was on the board. Again, Lorenz, what I'm trying to say is I don't know who did the work, but they transcript said a lot of A's. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't know.
But going back to what you said,
I'm not certain who did the work, but it said a lot of A's on there, baby, and that's all I'm concerned with.
Right.
Because listen, you ain't gonna get no borderline through our admissions office. It don't go down like that.
You listen. Don't confuse Coach K with Jared Tarkanian, okay? Let's not do that. That's what. And I'm not even a Duke. And I'm not even a Duke guy. Let's not do that. Because you can look at Jared Tarkanian owning off the field guys, and look at Coach K owning off the field guys after their careers and through their careers, and I guarantee you, when the last time you seen something negative on them guys there in any aspect of life, you ain't gonna find it.
Yeah,
now you can't say the same thing for Jerry Tarkanian and his guys.
It's interesting that Lorenz makes that statement, and then Pac Jam actually jumped out there and said those things. They recruit a certain type of kid, and I don't think y'all are really paying any attention to that. I think y'all get caught up with the basketball side, but y'all not recognizing that they recruiting the same kid over and over and over and over again. It's the same kid, but y'all just caught up in, what they're able to do on the basketball court. However, I can tell you this from experience, everybody on the campus athletically is that same kid too. Whether it's on the women's side or the men's side, the same kid.
RJ Barrett was a one and done. RJ Barrett was a one and done. Grant Hill, Thomas Hill, 4-year guys, they the same kid.
Yeah. Yeah, same kid.
RJ Barrett and Grant Hill is the same guy.
As a matter of fact, Pac Jam, to nail that in even further, there was a kid that was being recruited here at another school while I was coaching. And the Duke coach came to me and asked me, did I know the kid? And I happened to know him. And he said, is he, his only question to me was, is he a Duke guy? That's it. So that's what I'm telling you. he would only ask me that because I was. So he's like, can he roll? Can he is he one of us? Basically, like, is he a good guy?
Right.
That's what it boils down to. You know, are you a person that's gonna not embarrass your family, yourself, and your school? I'm telling you, that's what it boils down to. So it's so funny that Pac Jam brings that up. And then I was able to think back to
because a lot of times people
asking me that exact same question.
Right, because a lot of times people get lost in saying he one and done, he 4 years. But just like you said, to affirm what you're saying is, hey, these guys one and done, but they're the exact same guy of this guy that Thomas and Grant Hill. That's the same guy in R.J. Barrett.
Right.
Even though one went for 4, one went for 1, they're the same guy.
And again, Pac Jam, you made it even point more than I did, but it's funny. Like, you just have to look around, and every year they keep pushing them out, and every year we're seeing, like, even a guy like Okafor that's had a tough career thus far, been called everything but something positive when it comes to basketball, and you still, you know, he had one run in at a club, somebody tried to fight him or something like that.
Somebody jumped on him at the club, right? He got jumped at the club.
and I mean, before we know it, he on the Nigeria team getting us buckets.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Austin Rivers, one and done, but he's the same. You know what I mean? He's that guy, and you happen to know him a little bit more off the field than others would know. But you see, he's the same person. You know what I mean? Yeah. That same lineage of player that they're looking for.
Absolutely, man. Well, Pac Jam, excited that you was able to come on the show. Slide
yes, sir, anytime.
You brought that thing, you slid in the first and then brought that thing all the way home, baby.
Absolutely.
A grand slam.
Absolutely.
So we definitely appreciate you from sideline to baseline with
I will be going before you. I will be watching the Nightmare tomorrow night, midnight. I will be up on the midnight oil with that Nightmare once again, called USA Olympic Basketball.
And you see, I throw it up there. Roger Dodger said, "How dare you talk about grandmama?" When you talking about Coach K and Jerry?
Absolutely,
Jerry Tarkanian, baby. So from sideline to baseline with MB and K. Lou, and look at it, Pac Jam, the realest co-host in sports. We are gone.